Guys, welcome to Kachibachi. Today we are opening a package. Golden Plus sent us a cutting mat and we are sharing our thoughts. So this is their 24 by 36 and it comes in one big flat box, which is a huge plus because you definitely don't want someone to ship your cutting mat folded. That really sucks and oftentimes ends up in a permanently damaged cutting mat. So first off, it's got a black side, and when you ask your husband for a knife to open things and he gives you a ginormous one, you just kind of roll with it because apparently that's what's easier. So we're just gonna cut right into it and see what we can find. So for full disclosure here, they definitely did send us this for free. This is really just us opening it up and giving our first impressions. It's really kind of hard to actually see how you like something like this until you've used it for a bit. So we'll circle back around after I've actually cut out a few projects and seen how it holds up over some time. So they have your basic lines on it, some 45 degree diagonals, and then it is all in inches with 1/8 of an inch as the smallest increment. There are no 16ths or millimeters or centimeters or anything like that. It's got some squares on the side. It's so. Honestly, I don't use the markings on my mat all that much, and I'd potentially prefer to have lines all the way through, but for quick reference, it's not a bad thing. I do really like having a dark side and a light side. It gives you really high contrast depending on the material that you're working with. So having dark tone fabrics on a contrasting background makes it really easy to see what you're cutting. The very first thing I like to do is make sure that my ruler lines match up with the lines on my mat. And this one, honestly, they disappear right underneath it, as you can see. So you just want to double check that because you don't want to end up with two different size blocks depending on if you use your ruler or your cutting mat. So definitely when you get a new mat, treat it nicely, put a new blade on your rotary cutter as we have done here. And we just did some practice cuts just to see what was left behind in the mat, how its self-healing properties held up from day one. And really it did pretty great. So this was just 100% cotton and I could find very little left actually in the cut of the mat. So overall, I was pretty satisfied. We tried it with some jersey as well, just for a different texture, a nice wrinkly piece of jersey here. And same thing really, it cut beautifully, didn't have anything much left as far as residue in the actual cuts. And so I was again, pretty darn satisfied. And a nice thing about a new blade is you don't have to press very hard. So it's probably multiple factors playing into that. But for day one, I have no qualms. Since this mat is advertised as being a lightweight, quality, and economy pricing. So for this size, it's a 24 by 36 and it was $45.99. That's really a nice price point because these typically retail around $75 to $100 for a mat that size. And it is definitely a lighter weight, so it's easier for traveling to and from class. Even just if this was like your travel mat, I probably would have to say it's not a bad option if you were taking it to and from classes, because this weight wise is just about the same weight as my 18 by 24 from Olfa. So overall, as far as heftiness goes, it's not super heavy, which is one of the things that they're advertising as a pro. So we'll see how that plays out in durability long term. But again, for $45, I mean, if this is the mat that you throw in your car to go to a class, you're pretty golden. Golden plus. Okay, don't kill me for that one. That was an accident. Thanks, Golden Plus, for sending us this. So if this is something you're interested in checking out for yourself, click the link below.